Hello and welcome to Inside Sports. I'm Wes Decker. It's great to have you here this week, and we're getting right to it. No time for an opening. We've got so much material this week. We begin with our featured football game, and entering Friday night, the South Hagerstown Rebels were on a roll, and they rolled into Boonsboro, winners of 4 in a row, a stretch during which they had outscored their opponents 168-56, in part because they had taken the ball away 10 more times than they had given it away. Oh, and there was another contributing factor, too. A 5'10", 223-pound brand name running back with the generic surname. In the last 14 quarters he'd played, Mr. Smith had put up Herculean numbers, 1,011 yards and 17 touchdowns rushing. That's an average of 72 yards and 1.2 TDs per every 12 minutes. But average doesn't come close to describing Isiaha. And unfortunately for Boonsboro head coach Clayton Anders, Isiaha was the last name he wanted to hear after he watched North Hagerstown's Isaiah Keys run for 253 yards and 3 scores against his defense the previous week. He could, however, take some solace in his team carrying the flag into battle, endeavoring to protect the home turf at Warrior Field, a place his Chargers were a perfect 3-0 so far in 2013. And it was the Boonsboro offense that went to work first and fast, up-tempoing their way all the way to the Rebels' 11-yard line before South defensive tackle Kyrell McDonald threw the Warrior Express in reverse, bringing down Boonsboro quarterback Jeff Bennett for an 11-yard loss, effectively ending a promising opening drive. The Rebels' opening drive lasted just 5 plays, and when Eddie Slater tried to punt, he instead wound up covering up a bad snap at his own 13-yard line, giving Boonsboro's offense a golden opportunity to cash in. But the South Hagerstown D wasn't about to play ATM machine, and Ramal Martinez spearheaded his unit's effort to force the Warriors' second straight empty trip into the red zone, a place where the Rebel O didn't even slow down to sightsee when moments later Smith galloped 54 yards to the house to give South Hagerstown a 7-0 lead with 3:41 to play in the opening quarter. Boonsboro's attempt to answer ended inside the Rebel 40, but following Trevor Walsh's well-placed punt, South Hagerstown started its next series 98 yards from the Boonsboro end zone. 5 Smith runs moved the ball out to the 27 early in the second quarter, where Josiah Johnson innocently took the handoff, made a filthy spin move, and was off to pay dirt, turning on the Jets for a 73-yard touchdown that upped the Rebel lead to 14-0. In need of a spark on the 4th play of the ensuing Warrior possession, Ethan Foster provided one, spinning out of the grasp at the line of scrimmage and running through a pair of arm tackles for an exhilarating 22-yard gain. 4 plays later, Tyler Hollis lost the football at the goal line, but Jared DeRocher pounced on it in the end zone to complete an 80-yard scoring drive that cut the Boonsboro deficit in half. However, the score remained 14-7 for a mere 52 seconds. Smith burst through a hole on the series' second play and outran Boonsboro's defenders for a 65-yard touchdown and a 20-7 South Hagerstown advantage 5 minutes and 33 seconds into the second quarter. Following punts by each team, Boonsboro moved back into Rebel territory on Walsh's sideline tap dance in the half's final minute, but the South D stiffened and rose up to end the opening 24 minutes on a high note, leaving the Warriors to contemplate the what-ifs of a first half in which they ran 18 more plays, yet left the field trailing by 13 points. A deficit that became 20 when Brandon Jackson capped a 52-yard, 5-play march in 1 minute and 46 seconds on South's opening drive of the third quarter. After the Rebels forced the Boonsboro 3 and out, Smith added significantly to his 185-yard first half by going untouched 93 yards on the very first play, South's second TD in 1 minute and 51 seconds, extending the lead to 34-7 with 8:23 left in the third. The Warriors weren't about to roll over, though. On the ensuing series, Bennett hooked up with Nick Hubbard for a 61-yard completion all the way to the Rebel 10-yard line. It took 4 plays from there and a 5-yard halfback pass from Foster to Walsh to get Boonsboro on the board to pull within 34-13 with 5:40 left in the third. Following a South punt, the Warriors got as close to scoring as the Rebel 1-yard line early in the fourth quarter before Sabri Makamba stripped the ball from Hollis, and Mike Burgess recovered for South Hagerstown just outside the goal line to thwart a 9-play, 91-yard drive. And if Coach Anders appeared to be less than pleased with that ruling, just give it another 5 plays when an inadvertent, albeit Listen for yourself. An audible whistle nullified this Boonsboro fumble recovery for a touchdown. Things would get worse for the Warriors when 2 plays after the Rebels punted, linebacker Craig Coffin's strip sack and fumble recovery set South Hagerstown up at the Boonsboro 41, and 3 plays later, Smith capitalized from 28 yards, his 4th TD of the night, to make the score 41-13 South with just 4:54 left to play. And Boonsboro played it out with a score, going 65 yards in 3 minutes and 47 seconds, with Hollis finishing the 10-play drive from the 4-yard line to close out the scoring in a 41-20 South Hagerstown victory, the Rebels' 5th straight, as Smith ends the night with the second-best rushing performance of his record-setting career, 348 yards and 4 touchdowns. And inasmuch as number 39 was the major difference maker for South, so too was its defense, who bent but refused to break all night. 3 red zone stops and 2 huge takeaways proved to be pivotal in a game in which they were on the field for 64 total plays. By comparison, the Rebel offense ran just 44, but the big play was its friend with 5 of 6 touchdowns covering 28 yards or better. Next up for the county's highest scoring offense, a Watkins Mills squad who's giving up 37 points per game during its current 4-game losing streak. Mix those stats with senior night Friday at School Stadium, and you have the ingredients for South improving to 7-1. 4-3 Boonsboro, meantime, travels to Thurmont to tangle with a confident Catoctin team whose only loss in its last 5 games was to South Hagerstown. The Cougars are off a stunning 35-13 upset of North Hagerstown last Friday, despite another Hub interception return for a touchdown, this time by Preston Carey. But it was the only takeaway of the game for North, who gave the ball away 5 times in suffering its first conference setback and 3rd overall against 4 wins. Wins? They just keep on coming in Hancock, 5 straight in fact, after the Panthers' 52-0 homecoming humbling of 100. Now 6-1, Hancock has ensured itself of a winning season for the first time since 2004. The Panthers go to Woodstock, Virginia on Friday to take on an 0-7 Massanutten Military Academy team. West Virginia was the scene last Friday evening for a last-second Clear Spring victory. Colin Schultz's one-handed grab of Jake Brandt's pass on the game's final play gave the Blazers a 28-26 W over Berkeley Springs. Now 2-5, Clear Spring is back in the wild, wonderful state this Friday to visit winless Spring Mills. Incidentally, also coming up under the Friday night lights, aforementioned North Hagerstown hosts 1-7 Smithsburg. And 2 of the reasons the Leopards still have just 1 win, join me next. A 6'5", 330-pound senior lineman and the 6'1", 190-pound junior quarterback he protects are here right after this.
At Murray's Tire and Auto, we were here for you then, and we're here for you now. While the way we look might have changed over the years, the quality of the work you've come to count on remains the same. From preventive maintenance services to emissions repairs to major and minor mechanical work. Plus, Murray's carries Cooper and other major brands of tires and uses state-of-the-art equipment to accommodate all rim and tire sizes. And now shopping for tires has never been easier. At Murray's, your family's safety behind the wheel is important to us as our own. Enjoy old-fashioned service with all the modern conveniences at Murray's Tire and Auto. Still here for you in Williamsport. Antietam Cable is pleased to announce another exciting innovation, Antietam To Go. Antietam To Go lets you watch TV shows on your computer or portable device, laptop, tablet, smartphone. Watch what you want, when you want, where you want from the most popular networks on television. Power Antietam To Go with Antietam high-speed internet for the perfect entertainment combo. Just visit myactv.net/Antietam To Go to get started. It's TV your way with Antietam To Go, free with your TV subscription. Thank you for being an Antietam Cable customer.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. I'm joined now by a couple of Williamsport Wildcats, Zach Morrell and Saavon Brown. Welcome to the show, guys. I'm glad to have you here, fresh off the win over Smithsburg on Saturday, 34-29. And Zach, let me start with you because the way that game started, Smithsburg had the football. It seemed like they were never going to give the ball up. Their opening drive lasts over 9 minutes. They put 7 points on the board. As an offensive guy, what's that like, just standing over there on the sideline waiting for your turn?
It's a lot of anticipation. That game, it was kind of strange how it started. I think that first quarter we only had each 1 possession. But I think it helped the offensive see, what their offensive can do. And I think it helped us in the long run. I think our offensive line went out and not just the line, but the whole offensive side of the ball went out and was ready to just drive the ball down the throat.
And that's pretty much what you did. An 11-play drive that answered theirs. You pull within 1 point at 7-6, and then the defense made a big red zone stop at that point, got the ball back for the offense. Then the offense goes 86 yards, and Saavon, on that particular drive, big pass play there to Jordan Stonebreaker that got you down close, and then Jordan would score. Tell me about that game from your perspective, and especially the early going, when you get down early, because all year long for Williamsport, it's been a battle of points. Who can outscore the other team seemingly? And now you get the lead at 12-7, but it didn't last very long.
Passing-wise, it wasn't really there as much as we were running the ball. Running the ball, we were just being able to get more yards and stuff on them. So we just stuck to running the ball and just kept running it down their throats. And we had a few pass plays in there, here and there, but running was what was working for us, so we stuck to that.
Yeah, it took Smithsburg all of 49 seconds to go ahead then before halftime. So you go into halftime, Zach, and now you're behind in this game where you haven't necessarily seen the ball a lot, but you had the lead, and then the lead snatched away right before the end of the half. What's discussed at halftime?
Really, we just go over our techniques, what needs to be done, and what we need to improve on in the next half. And I try and remind them, that we still got another half to play. And I want that second half to be the longer half of the game, because I want them to slow everything down and take each play by play, because that's how it needs to be. And I think when you do that, it really lets them focus in on what they need to do, and it helps with just mentally getting your blocks down.
Yeah. So you're really leading, and you're telling the guys, kind of, let's just take it one play at a time. We can make this happen. And obviously, you had a big size advantage against Smithsburg in terms of line versus line. And on that first possession of the second half, Saavon, come out, you drive the ball down the field. Now, there was a play where it looked like you might have fumbled the football, and Smithsburg thought they had it. Was that a fumble or not?
No, I was down.
Okay, you're definitely down. Regardless, even though the game's over and all the dust is cleared, you've won the game, you still – okay, you were definitely down on that. Well, after that, you don't score that time down, but the next time around, you come up with a touchdown, and all of a sudden it's your legs that get the job done. And you've been pretty good at that all year long, but 64 yards, and it was kind of like in the blink of an eye. What did you see there? Was it just a big hole that opened up for you?
That was the second one. The first one, it was like we were running an option, and then they stacked our outside right and cut it up the middle. And then the second one that you were talking about, the 64-yarder, just seen a hole and just took it. Yeah,
that's right. The first one was the 39-yarder, but both of them, I don't know if you were touched on either of those runs. I mean, you're
the second one, I was a kid, I think it's number 5, Garrett Spinks, had a perfect angle on me, and I stopped. He flew by me, and I started going again, and someone grabbed me from behind, but was able to break that and walk in the end zone.
So you're up 26-23 in the fourth quarter, only to see Smithsburg then drive down another long drive, 10 plays, and with 6:54 left, they're up 29-26. Still plenty of time left in the football game, but in the back of your mind, perhaps you're thinking, well, this is the way Williamsport's season's gone this year. I mean, but you guys were able to pull it together. You put together a 9-play drive of your own. Matt Malfers caps that off after you get the ball down close, Saavon, and you take the lead with 2:17 to go. So now you're up by 5 points, and the defense is back out there on the field. This is the defense that's struggled a great deal this season, still allowing almost 39 points per game, but they wind up making a big play at the end of that game after Smithsburg got a long pass play, get an interception at the end. How good did it feel, Zach, to walk off that field with the victory that day? Because that was a hard-fought win.
It felt great. There's no other feeling compared to it. And there was kind of a better feeling considering being an offensive guy that they had put myself and Travis Kendall in as defensive ends to basically stack that defensive line.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of opportunities to do that.
And I think that's only happened, the North Carroll game we did that?
I don't remember.
And that's basically it's towards the end of the game, it's a close game, we need to stop them.
Yeah.
And being able to stop them with that little time left and then to score again was awesome.
Yeah, huge win for you guys. And Saavon, I think you've kind of flown under the radar a little bit this year in terms of the offensive numbers. A lot of other guys have been talked about, but you have over 1,000 yards rushing and over 1,000 yards passing now this season, and averaging 144 yards rushing per game, 147 yards passing per game. What's worked so well for you this season that you've been able to augment the running with the passing and vice versa?
I mean, whenever they call their running plays, I just follow my blocks, and whatever's there, I try to take it. And if there's not anything there, I just passing-wise, if everyone's covered, I just try to get what I can with my feet.
Well, and you have turnover-free football wins games too, and that's what you guys were able to do on Saturday. And best of luck, down the road here. Brunswick coming up this week, and a chance to go, 500 before this season is over. And with the way the season started out, some games that you could have won. Boy, to finish up strong would be big for this program for sure in the first year under Coach Ahern. Thanks for being here, guys.
No Thank you.
I'm back right after this. We turn our sights to soccer, the playoff draws to talk about in just a moment.
Boxes are good for a number of things, but not as your flooring store.
Excuse me, where can I find your ceramic tile expert?
Ceramic tile expert? You're looking at him.
But aren't you the...
Ceramic tile expert.
At Carpet Gallery, flooring isn't just one of the things we do, it's the only thing we do. And when they say free, we say, really? Here, you'll meet with flooring and ceramic tile experts with over 70 years of experience, and that's for real, and that's real value. Trust Carpet Gallery for all your flooring needs and think outside the box.
Welcome back to Inside Sports, and the postseason is upon us as it relates to soccer. And joining me now is Boonsboro girls coach Chris Lantz to talk a little bit about the draw. Coach, welcome back to the show. And it's been a successful season to this point for sure for Boonsboro, but now it's time to take the next step and go beyond here into the playoffs. You get a number 2 seed in the 2A West Section 1 region, but you don't get a whole lot of favors with that draw. I mean, the second best team in that section, but you get the number 7 Oakdale Bears, a team that is well over 500 this season, and you just saw earlier this week. So how strange does it make that matchup coming up in the first game for you?
It is. It's a tough matchup, and you don't want to draw a team with 9 or 10 wins like Oakdale, and is a really quality opponent. But after the top 2 seeds, it's all a random draw, and you take what you get, and we'll prepare for them and get ready to play.
Boonsboro 9-3-1 coming into that game, and had an 8-game win streak and a 10-game unbeaten streak snapped against Oakdale. But that's a game where you pull back the reins, and if you get a win, so be it. If you don't, that's okay. You don't want to show anything. A real chess match, really kind of a dress rehearsal for that playoff game, and played only the starters for the first half of that game. So, all of a sudden, now you tell the girls, next game, you got to turn it on more than ever. From a coach's standpoint, how do you approach that, psychologically? Because you've got a bunch of competitors out there. Obviously, first time around against Oakdale, they wanted to win anyway, but now it's like, here we go. This is what we've been playing for.
Yeah, and we've got a really competitive group this year, so I don't foresee any problems for the players getting back up to play again in the playoffs. They're always competing. They're always wanting to win and always wanting to play well. So I don't think it's going to be a problem getting back to it against Oakdale here in the playoffs.
Yeah, just one of those strange nuances within the season, because obviously every time you go out, you want to win a soccer match. And the winner of that game then faces either number 3 Williamsport or number 6 Walkersville. And you just faced Williamsport not that long ago, winning the Antietam Conference title in a 1-0 victory. If that should come to pass, that would be a great matchup here in Washington County, obviously, between the 2 best girls teams. And it's interesting because you look at Boonsboro and Williamsport from the standpoint that not long ago, they were both 1A schools. Now in 2A West, this is a very, very difficult region.
It is. I think it's one of the toughest regions in the state, if not in the entire state. If you look at all the teams in it, you've got several state champions over the past few years. You've got Williamsport, who's consistently in the region finals and competing for region championships. If we can get through Oakdale, we'll be prepared for Williamsport or Walkersville. We've seen them both this season once and know that they're 2 very good teams.
Yeah, defeated Walkersville 2-1. That was back on September the 23rd. Mountain Ridge is the top seed in that section. Middletown, the defending state champ, the 4 seed, potentially a matchup between Middletown and Mountain Ridge to come in the second round there. Let's go to the 1A West, Section 2, first round there. All the teams get byes, so into the second round. The top seed is Smithsburg at 8-5-1 against a winless Hancock team, the 4 seed. So you expect Smithsburg to move on there for sure. And then the 2 seed, Clear Spring, takes on third seeded Brunswick. Now, Brunswick has that great soccer pedigree, obviously. Down a little bit this year, you might agree. But, you know, in terms of Washington County teams they've played, they've given them some trouble. They've defeated Smithsburg this year, already tied Clear Spring. You had a tie against Brunswick earlier this year. Maybe not quite up to the same level that they have been, but they could be trouble there for any of those Washington County teams. Can't overlook Brunswick no matter what that record is.
Right, yeah, tactically they play very defensive, so they don't give you many quality chances. They'll pack it in defensively, so Clear Spring's going to have some work to do against them, and if they're healthy, I think Clear Spring can come out of that.
Now, I think Clear Spring, well, the head coach will give them a little bit of a talking to after that loss to South last time out. That might be the wake-up call they need going to the next level here. And the 4 seed there, Manchester Valley, is the defending state champ. Over in 3A West, Section 1, third seed North Hagerstown against Urbana. North will host that game. The 5th seed, South Hagerstown, is at Frederick. South with only 1 win this year, but that was that win, the aforementioned victory over Clear Spring. Linganore is the top seed there in 3A West. And as far as your team is concerned, as we said, starting out against Oakdale and have outscored opponents 19-6 this season. Unbelievable. A 7-game shutout streak was what was on the line going into Monday's game against Oakdale. Man, the defense, enough offense this year. Looks like this is a team that is really built to make that kind of run because playing one game at a time is something that doesn't bother this team at all.
No, the girls, they approach every game as just the one game that they're focused on, which is refreshing this year. They don't really look too far ahead. And we're built from the back, and our leadership is in the back with Bree and our back line. And they've really done a good job of limiting easy opportunities and really making it difficult on our opponents to get quality scoring chances.
Yeah, really frustrating opponents to some degree. So hopefully, from your perspective, that keeps up, Coach. Best of luck in the playoffs, and we'll be keeping an eye on you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that almost bothers you a little bit, me keeping an eye on you. And I'll be back right after this. Coach Chris Downs from Williamsport here. We'll talk about the boys' soccer draw in just a moment.
What's bigger than a baker's dozen and a lot more exciting? Antietam Cable's Sports Plus, 18 extra sports channels, MLB Network, Golf Channel, ESPNU, ESPN News, Big Ten Network, Outdoor Channel, World Fishing Network, Horse Racing TV, Fox College Sports, NFL Network, NFL Red Zone, every touchdown from every game every Sunday during the regular season and more. Antietam Cable Sports Plus, just $7.99 per month. If you already have a digital box, you can get Sports Plus activated instantly. Call now, 301-797-5000.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. We continue now with more playoff soccer, talking about the boys' draw now. And joining me for that is Williamsport head coach Chris Downs. Coach, welcome back to the show. And I know this is the time of year that you really shoot for and you look forward to. Williamsport gets the number 3 seed in 2A West in Section 1. And will you actually get to play this game on your home turf?
That's the plan.
Yeah.
We're told it's going to be ready, so we're looking forward to actually getting home for a game.
And that will be against the 6th seed Catoctin, a team that's won only 1 game so far this season. And when you approach a game like this, I mean, your team has been on quite a roll, and you've been playing high caliber type competition. Now you get to the point where you can be one and done. How do you emphasize to your guys how important a game like this is when you look at the record of the other team and it's just not quite up to snuff?
Well, and that's the great equalizer that are the Maryland playoffs. And, you know, it doesn't matter what your record is, everybody's 0-0. And that's really what we've been preaching to the kids. And they know they're going to come in here and give us a game. Bob Vieti's a great coach. He's going to have those kids ready to go. And, you know, we've been really preaching it's not what about the other team does. It's about the business that we take care of. So that's really been our message this week.
And as I said, you've really been taking care of business lately. 4 wins in a row coming into today, which is Tuesday as we tape this. Unbeaten in, 8 of the last 9, I believe it is. Mm-hmm. And outscored the opposition 17-6 during that 9-game stretch. And really spreading that scoring around. You have to be pretty happy with the fact that you've had so many contributors.
Yeah, it's good because, you know, my assistants and I were talking the other day. It's really nice not only with Owen and Ryan and Tiago Hart getting in the mix, but it's the real important stuff for us is our role players and the guys that we're calling on in different situations with different teams. And it seems like every string we pull has been working out, and that's been the key to our success, other than the guys hitting the back of the net, but the guys really grinding it out and doing it what we're asking them to do. So from a team standpoint, it's been great.
And the guy you want to keep the ball out of the net has been absolutely sensational lately. A 0.67 goals against average in that 9-game stretch, 4 shutouts. Corey Ellis really playing, I would say, his best soccer of the year right now at a time when you want him to be.
Yeah, and the key to Corey is he's healthy now.
Yeah.
He was battling some knee issues in the beginning of the year and really fighting through that, just what kind of kid he is. But, you know, Corey's been our rock, and I can think of at least 2 games where if it's not for him, we're probably not coming out on top in those games. So he's obviously been a big part of our success.
And let me ask you this: how do you assess the draw for Williamsport? How do you feel about that?
Well, in comparison to the other county teams, I'm pretty happy with what we've drawn. We, you know, assuming we can take care of Catoctin, you know, we get Oakdale again down there, provided they can take care of Boonsboro. And I'm kind of looking forward to that rematch. We lost to them 2-1 down there early in the season, right after the county tournament.
Way back on September
weekend.
the 9th.
Right, exactly. And we were still missing a couple of kids due to injury. We hadn't changed things around yet. So I'm really looking forward to getting back out there with that team.
And if it's not Oakdale, then it would be Boonsboro, whom you've already faced 3 times this year and defeated 3 times. And you say, man, I hate to face a team twice and have to beat them twice. Could be 4 times potentially before all said and done.
Yeah, and that presents another challenge in itself. Just trying to do the same thing against a team that knows you so well is difficult.
And you get then Mountain Ridge would be the top seed overall, a team that you defeated this season at their place 2-1.
Yeah, we gave them their only loss, and you know, I think they're always tough, particularly at their home place, and they're just relentless. They don't ever quit, and they're so good in the air. They're a very tough team to deal with.
In 1A West then, Section 2, as we look at some of the other playoff matchups, 5th-seeded Smithsburg with just 1 win this season at 4th-seeded Mountain Ridge, who is 2-10. Now the winner of that one travels to the top seed and defending champ Brunswick, who is 11-2-1. The other matchup there is the 3rd seed Clear Spring at 8-5. They get a first-round bye, as does the 2 seed North Carroll, who's 7-4-1 coming in. Now North Carroll handed Brunswick one of its 2 losses this year, but you feel that Clear Spring matches up pretty well against the North Carroll.
Yeah, I think defensively Clear Spring's very strong, and I think on any given night they have such talented players and they're well coached, and I just think they'll be ready. Even up at North Carroll, I think they'll be a tough out.
And in 3A West, Section 1, the 3rd seed there, North Hagerstown at 3-11 against 6th-seeded Tuscarora, an 8-6-1 team that you just saw and defeated. Tuscarora beat North earlier this season 6-0, so that's a rematch there, as is the 7th seed South Hagerstown at 2nd-seeded Frederick. The Cadets beat the Rebels 7-2 back on September the 9th. That was a much different South team at that point in time. They've gotten a lot better as the season's gone along. But Coach, as far as Williamsport is concerned, hey, best of luck as we head down the road here. And obviously, it's just 1 game at a time more than ever the rest of the way out here. So, again,
Absolutely.
Good luck.
Absolutely. Thank you, Wes. Appreciate it.
I'll be back next week with a whole new show. We've got soccer results for you at that time, plus the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of Week 8's football. In addition to that, it's a big Monday coming up next week, because we've got the golf championship starting on the state level and the volleyball draw will be held. Plus, we'll be able to talk about cross-country champions from the county. So if you thought this was a big show, next week it gets even bigger. We hope to see you then. Thanks for watching. And until then, I'll see you on the inside.
Hey, your sisters and your brothers, your haters and your lovers, you gotta get up in the streets. Hey, don't complain to mother, they hiding under cover. You gotta get up on your feet. Now I feel it in my bones again. Yeah, feel it, but you're never gonna let it in until you get up.